the first question, let that load for you. Loading. There it is. Okay. I have not snipped in the instructions, but it says to write an equation in point slope form. Before we can even do that, you have to be able to find the slope between these 2 points. Do you remember the slope formula?
Slope formula, it's m equals y.
Y2, y subscript 2.
Oh, y2 y1 over x2 x1.
Very good. Now you have to know this formula. You have to be able to like roll out of bed and be like, all right, that's the slope formula. Okay.
I don't remember it being called slope formula, so that's probably why I didn't recognize
Yeah,
it.
slope formula. There's a lot of formulas in math. I mean, this one you have to know for your class for sure. Okay. All right. Now, in terms of what these mean, the reason we use these subscripts is because there's 2 x's. Okay. Remember, ordered pairs are x comma y. So when you have 2 of them, you have to label them with a subscript: x1, y1, x2, and y2. Okay, so what is the value of y2 in our problem here?
Y2. It's 5.
It is 5. What is the value of y1?
It's 0.
0 over, what is x2?
0.
And what is x1?
4.
Okay. In the numerator and denominator, we're just going to apply the math operation here. We're going to do 5 minus 0, that's 5. The denominator is -4. Now, very important here, this negative actually by preference goes up to the top, or you can put it out in front, but for us, we're going to write -5 over 4 today. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to snip in the instructions now because we have enough to be able to do most of the rest of the problem here. The instructions say to write an equation in point slope form. Any idea what that means, point slope form?
Slope form.
Point slope form. It's together, point and then slope. Yeah. Okay, so it's another formula. I'm going to write it for you. It's y minus y1. Slope equals slope x minus x1. So again, just like the slope formula, you got to know this one.
So it's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1.
Yes. Okay, and here's what you have to do to use this formula. You need 2 things. You need the slope, which you have. You actually found the slope. And the second thing you need is you need a point. Okay. You need an x1 and a y1. Okay, now you have a slope. You have a slope here, -5 over 4. You calculated that. And you actually have 2 points. So you just pick one that you like better. Do you like the 4, 0 better or the 0, 5 better?
4, 0. 4, 0.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're going to write the equation. Again, I'm going to write it one more time. Y minus y1 equals slope x minus x1. And you just said you like the 4, 0 better. And the slope is -5 over 4. This is x1 and this is y1. So you substitute those numbers into the formula. 4 goes in for x1, 0 goes in for y1. So you substitute things, you literally write those in. So it's y minus 0 equals -5 over 4, x minus 4. Do you follow that progression? Do you follow how I substituted those numbers in?
All right. Yeah.
If you didn't, I mean, we're going to do another example, but just let me know if this is clear or not.
I think it makes some sense.
Okay. So two things out of this question that you have to know. You have to know the slope formula, and you have to know the point slope form of a line.
Mhm.
Do you have those down in your notes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the next, excuse me, the next two data points, ordered pairs here. Okay. So the good idea is to always label them x1, y1, x2, and y2. The ones always go together and the twos always go together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me the slope formula?
All right, so it's m equals 7 minus
No,
2.
just give me the
Oh.
formula. Hang on, just give me the formula. Don't put the numbers in yet. It's always, you really want to write the formula before you start substituting. What is the formula?
It's y2 over y1. I know it's y2 minus y1, x2 minus y2. I mean,
X1.
yeah, x2, x1.
Yes, yes. So the more you write it down, the more you say it, the more you understand it. Like it's like remembering your phone number. Probably the first time you remembered your phone number, you had to say it or write it down a few times. Okay, now what is y2? What is the value of y2?
Value of y2
Yes,
it's a negative 2.
-2 minus, what is the value of y1?
7.
7. Over, what's x2?
It's 8.
Minus, what is the value of x1?
Negative 1.
Yeah, now you're going to notice that I'm putting it in parentheses. Okay, now whenever I substitute for a negative value, I always put it in parentheses. And there's a reason for that. It helps for dealing with the signs. Okay. But let's take a look at the numerator. What is -2 minus 7?
Minus 2 minus 7. It's 5.
Okay, try again. And you're welcome to use a calculator if that will help you.
Well, man, this is too complicated.
So you got to look at it just you
Yes,
can only,
it's 7, 8, it's 9, -9.
it's -9. Good. Now on the bottom, what happens when you have two negatives? What does that become?
It becomes a positive.
So it's really 8. You can really think of it as 8 plus 1 down here.
So it's 9.
Good. And what is 9 divided by 9?
9 is 1.
Okay, so that negative comes with it. So your slope is -1. So like we did all that work on the right, just to get this one number. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now we need the point slope form of a line. Can you tell me the point slope form of a line?
Point slope form of 9. It's m equals y1 minus y. No, y2 minus y1 over x2.
You're giving me the slope formula, which is great. Okay, but what I'm asking for is the point slope form of a line.
Oh.
And maybe you heard the word slope and you said, oh, it's this one up here. Yes, this is slope. Very good. You got that down. I need this formula. I need you to say, oh,
So
go ahead.
So it's y equals
Y
yeah,
minus
y1
y1 equals,
m
okay,
mx
parentheses, x.
Minus x.
Yeah,
Oh.
so follow along with me here one more time. Y minus y1 equals slope, that's m, times x minus x1. You got to have that down in your notes. Like you have to know that.
Sorry, my family's just distracting me a bit.
Let me know when you're able to refocus here.
Oh, okay, yeah, I will. Hey, Melly,
Yeah,
when are we gonna be done with that?
5 minutes.
In about 5 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll do the best we can here. What is the value of the slope that we calculated?
It's -1.
It's -1. Good. So I like to kind of write that here with the problem so that I know. Okay, that's the slope. Now, which point do you like better? The -1, 7 or the 8, -2?
-1, 7.
So that's x1 and y1. Okay.
Huh?
And so now all you're doing, you're just taking the numbers and you're substituting them in. Okay. So instead of y1, you're going to put in this value of 7. Okay. So let me color code that here. Sometimes that's easier. The 7 is y1. Okay. The slope is -1. The x1 is -1 here. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Great. So it's y minus 7, right? 7 is y1 equals the slope. The slope is -1 x minus. Now this one's a little bit different because it's negative. Okay, so it's really -1 inside parentheses here. Whenever you substitute in for a negative number, it's good to put it in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's one little piece left here, and that piece is you have to combine the two negatives. What did the two negatives become?
It becomes a positive.
Right, so you're gonna write a plus. It's x plus 1 there. -1 on the outside, y minus 7 equals.
Mm-hmm.
Any
So
questions on
it's,
that?
so do I add it up?
No, this is it. This is your final answer.
Oh,
You're done. Just like in the previous problem, you were done when we wrote this line right here.
mhm.
We got one more on this in this grouping to see if there's understanding. Actually, this is not a good one for us to do. Yeah, let me make one up here. Or do you have to get through this? Do you need to get this assignment done, or is this just practice?
I don't know. It's part of my homework.
Okay, well, let's keep going then. All right, so the next one is okay, there are your 2 points. Can you tell me what the slope formula is?
Formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Good. What is the value of y2?
8 minus 8
What's x2?
and 4 minus -6.
Good. In the top, you get 0, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. On the bottom, you get, what is 4 minus a -6? Can you tell me that?
It's 10.
Very good. Okay. What is 0 divided by 10?
0 divided by 10, it's 0.
0. So your slope is 0. That's okay. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1.
Mm-hmm.
So your slope is 0. That's good. Which ordered pair do you like better? The -6, 8 or the 4 and the 8?
4 and 8.
Okay, so that's x1 and y1. It's good to label them. It's going to be like, okay, I'm choosing this to be that. So now when you write your equation of a line, you're substituting 8 in for y1 and 4 in for x1. Y minus 8 equals, what's the value of your slope?
Value of my slope is 0.
0, x minus 4.
right. Alright. Sorry, I'm a bit tired.
No, you're doing great. You really, I mean, at least for me, I feel like you're giving me maximum effort here, and I appreciate that. Makes the lesson a lot better. I'm able to, see where you're understanding and not. Just let me know when you get caught up, and we'll move on to the next question.
Alright. Okay.
All right. So the next problem is what I call a backwards problem. You're used to doing things forwards, and now they're like, oh, do it backwards. And that's usually more challenging for students because you feel like, hey, I just got down the forwards and now I got to do something totally different. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write the formula in point slope form underneath the given equation. Okay. The slope's the one that we should do first. The slope is always this number that's outside the parentheses. What is the slope in this case?
It's sorry, my sister's back. It's
What is the number in front of the parentheses?
negative -2.
-2. Good. Okay. Now the point's the harder one. We know that the point is x1 and then y1. Okay. But you have to pay attention to these signs in here. See how this one's negative and this one's positive? What most students remember is that it's the opposite sign. So instead of -2, you would say that x1 is +2. Instead of +3, you would say that y1 is -3.
Yeah.
It's really easy to mix up those numbers there, and that's why I want you to really stare at that for a moment and see that we didn't write -2, we wrote the opposite sign of that. We didn't write +3, we wrote the opposite sign of that. Does that make sense?
Just give me a second.
Sure,
I'm
yeah,
running I'm writing this down real quick.
yeah. Take your time, and as you write it down, try to follow along what I was saying as best you can.
I'm good.
Okay, now when you graph this, you always start with the point. Okay, so the point, if you think about where the origin is, the origin's there where the two crosshairs come together. Can you tell me how to get to this point from the origin, which direction to go, up, down, left, or right, and how many?
Go down. You go down 2.
So the first number tells you left or right.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. So it's we go right.
Right, 2.
For 2.
And then the next number tells you to go down 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, now actually let me switch colors here. Okay, now the slope is -2, but it's really -2 over 1. It's a fraction, right? You can always write a number as being over 1.
Mhm.
And if you recall from class, it's rise over run, but let's give some meaning to that. When it's negative on the top, that means you're going down 2. The run is always to the right, you're going right 1.
Mhm.
Okay, so from this point right here that we started with, you're going to go down 2 and right 1. Down 2 and right 1. Now we're running out of space there, so you have to go backwards. Okay, and
Mhm.
when you go backwards, you want to pick the point that you think it is and make sure that it's down 2 and right 1 to get to that new point. Again, it's like, oh yeah, if it's right there, down 2, right 1, yeah. And that's how you figured it out. If you have a ruler, you can then do it more exactly.
Yeah, I know about this. I usually do it by eye after I get the pattern down. So I just go down, down, down.
Good.
I'm really good at that.
That's good. I had a teacher many years ago who would actually extend your line, and they would try to see if it matched a point that they thought was on the graph. So they were really particular about this. So that's great that you're so accurate with your graphing. Okay, let's really quickly try to get to the next one here. It's always quick in these half-hour lessons. There's always too much to cover, not enough time. All right, so again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write the formula for point slope form underneath. Y minus y1 equals the slope, x minus x1. Can you tell me the slope?
The slope is 1/2.
1/2. Okay, this one's a little nicer. Okay, now the point, remember, it's opposite signs. Okay, so when you look at this +6, what should you change that to in the point? It's always opposite signs. So it's the opposite of 6. It ends up being -6, comma, and instead of -1, it's +1.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know we're going a little quick here, but we're running out of time. So first we're going to plot that point, -6, 1. You're going left 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 1. There's your starting point. The slope tells you the rise over the run. You're going up 1 and right 2, up 1 and right 2. We would definitely want to spend a little more time on this next time. But from that point, it's always from that point, you're going to go up 1 and then right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. And you graph enough until you have the pattern down. Something that looks like that. All right, we're going to stop the recording